Hello everybody, my name is Banjax, and this is going to be a channel for my various musings, thoughts, theories, and what have you. I want to be able to put forth my ideas, my thoughts, and everything else. So this is my introduction. As I said, my name is Banjax, some of you might know me already, and well, I suppose I should start by telling you who I am if you don't. I am an occultist, magician, pagan, heathen. Yeah, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that later. But regardless, I do consider myself heathen. For instance, I am a member of the Troth. Uh, but I try to keep my heathenry separate from my occult practice. So, and what I do in my own home is none of your business to begin with. That being said, uh, let's start from the beginning. When I was young, I was born to a Christian household, as many of us were, and around the age 12, 13, I started thinking things were a little funny, didn't quite add up, went on my search for something else. Um, Again, pretty common to most of us. We've all been there. And but at that point, I'd already had some experiences with, I suppose you could say, paranormal phenomena. Nothing major, just the occasional ghost things, poltergeist-like activity. Um, and I started looking into uh, Eastern beliefs, Native American spirituality. Um, I say that in a very general sense because I was young. So at that time, I figured Native American was a very broad general term. And I started looking into that because my maternal grandfather, I believe, was full blood Cherokee. So that led me down that road. And while it didn't stick too much, um, it did start. That's what started me on my path to alternative spirituality. And hold on a second. There we go. Coffee. Coffee. But as I got older, around 13 years old or so, we got this wondrous thing in my house at the time called the internet. And the internet is good for a lot of things. Um, Not just porn, believe it or not. And from there, I started researching all the different forms of spirituality. At that point, I began railing pretty hard against Christianity because I was just fed up, jaded, typical rebellious young teenager. Looking at things like Satanism, and mostly at the time all I found was LaVeyan Satanism. But again, all steps on the journey. Started looking into, of course, I found things like Wicca, the various branches and such of that. And from there, I started looking into pantheons. This is where I started working with, well, I shouldn't say working with. That's where I started learning about the various gods and other cultures from around the world, really. From that point, it was a long process, about a year, where I started looking around, trying to find beings that I clicked with, wanting to find patron deity. Um, that's still a thing these days, but back then it was huge. Back around oh god, the early 2000s, everybody had to have a patron deity. Uh, Even heathens, they were. It was a big thing to find someone to be full truly with, and that's just. It's not as big of a deal anymore. There's been a lot of historical blah blah blah. People have discovered it's not. It wasn't really so much a thing in ancient history, but anyway. Okay. Now, as I was saying, it wasn't so much of a thing back then, but mm, at the time I was studying it, it was a big part of the entire community. Paganism, the occult, everybody was looking for something like that. Um, well, I suppose not so much all the occult communities, because we had the chaos magicians and Golden Dawn people simmering on that. Anyway, I'm sure most of you get what I'm saying. But what we did uh, was. Mm, Sorry, I lose track of my thoughts a lot. Uh, you have to bear with me on that. Right. Um, anyway, as I got older, 14 or so, I had begun looking into things like the Norse pantheon because I was trying to find beings that were associated with a lot of the things that I am personally very attached to, very fond of. Um, at that point in my life, I was very big on poetry. I worship the Growling, of course, because hey, angsty teenager. Um, and so I was very big on poetry. I was very big on self-defense. I had a bit of a hard time growing up, so it was learn to fight or get your ass kicked repeatedly. And yeah, that naturally things like poetry, the whole deathy vibe, you know, almost goth, and you know, self-defense, that kind of thing. I was naturally led to uh, reading a description of the god Odin. This was, excuse me, it was very interesting. And this was 14 years ago now, so I've been doing this half my life at this point. Um, so not long after that, I woke up one morning, and this is where it gets very UPG, very heavy into that. But I woke up one morning. I thought I woke up at least. To this day, I'm still not very sure. And Odin was there, standing at the foot of my bed, darkness all around, except for him. And he was standing there. He had in his wanderer guise, um, with a spear, and he took that spear, pointed it at me, directly at my chest, and I could see silver runes swirling around him. And he was like, he told me, you know, you're mine now. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to guide you. And learn these runes. And I was absolutely terrified.